Can you please tell us about yourself?
My name is Lorraine Wolf. I have a doctorate in neuropsychology from City University of New York, and I've been working in disability services for about 30 years. My specialty as a neuropsychologist was neurodevelopmental conditions like autism, ADHD, childhood psychiatric disorders. And when I started in college disability services a billion years ago, autism was just being recognized. And myself and a few other colleagues were among the first who recognized this, partly because we were clinically trained and partly because we were parenting kids who were or would later be diagnosed as autistic. So we noticed that autistic students on campus bore a lot of similarity to patients that we'd assessed, kids that we were raising. And we got together as a collective to start to look at this back when incidence numbers were, we were talking about 1 in 175 young people being diagnosed with autism in the United States. Those numbers have skyrocketed, and along with that, we've seen a huge increase in the need for programming, which is how Square One came into being. I worked as the Director of Disability and Access Services at Boston University for 27 years. I retired a few years ago, and since my retirement, I've been focusing exclusively on autism without having to, be responsible for other disability access issues on a campus. So I've been able to dive into this with my colleagues, Amy Rutherford and Jane Therfield-Brown.
Can you please tell us about your Square One partner, the College Autism Network?
College Autism Network is an exciting group of professionals, individuals with autism, families, collaborating to create autistic-friendly spaces on campuses in the United States. And it paralleled work which Jane and I have been doing for a number of years in helping campuses develop programs and launch programs. Can kind of centralized all of that within an organization, which was fantastic because they have a reach that we didn't and don't have. So the collaboration between our group, which was collegeautismspectrum.com, and College Autism Network, was a really fruitful one.
Let's dive into the Square One program.
Square One is a virtual workshop for higher education professionals, and it's designed to help professionals assess whether they need a program, and if so, how to launch it, how to create goals, how to fund it, how to recruit participants, and really create unique programming and support for autistic students on their campuses. That's going to look different depending on the campus. We've worked with campuses that are commuter campuses or 2-year schools that don't have residence halls. We've worked with 4-year private universities, large state universities, and the needs differ campus to campus. So an opportunity to work in a small group individually with other campuses and with professionals is really valuable. We teach participants how to assess their campus and their needs and create something that works. There really is no one-size-fits-all model because every campus will have different students, different culture, and different needs. And we really try to be flexible with Square One in keeping the participation small so that people can get a lot of individual attention. It is important that people recognize that programs can range from providing accommodations only to very comprehensive programs that provide coaching, social support, programming, social activities, specialty dorms, specialty courses. So really, again, there's no one size fits all.
Which schools should consider attending Square One?
And schools that should consider Square One are any campuses that are seeing increasing numbers of autistic students that have a particular faculty interest, administrative interest. Sometimes schools are approached by admin to create support for autistic students. Sometimes that's driven by autistic students who have created issues on that campus, and they turn to the school and say, well, how do we better support these students to reduce the kinds of issues that may be coming up? I think that every school should consider having some kind of autism support, especially given the creep in the numbers that we're seeing over time.
What topics are covered in Square One?
Square One is, again, a virtual workshop led by Amy and myself this year. We try to keep the participation numbers low enough so that people really get individualized support so we can learn as a group, and everybody is at different stages in their program development. So it's important that we give everyone an opportunity to assess their individual campus with us. We teach campuses how to assess things like what are their needs, what are their individual needs given their campus culture, how to create mission statements, set goals, potential sources of funding and staffing models, who are the key stakeholders on campus, and how to foster those connections. So we talk about creating sensory inclusive spaces, quiet spaces, sensory rooms, things like that, that are important for individuals who are autistic. We cover working with parents, creating neuro-inclusive environments and course development, and very importantly, collecting and using data, because this is how programs become self-sufficient. You create administrative buy-in when you have data to bring back to your campus and say, this is an effective program and I can show you how it's effective.
When will the 2026 Square One program take place, and how much will it cost?
This year, our dates are June 11th and 12th. There will be individual follow-up sessions with participants over the summer as part of the curriculum. I believe this year it's about $450 for CAN members and $550 for non-CAN members. That's one full day session, one partial day session, and a follow-up session over the summer.
What factors can make it easier to start a new autism support program?
It's difficult to start any new initiative on a campus, particularly now when funding is tight and diversity initiatives are have gone somewhat underground. So it's a challenging atmosphere to try to start a new program. It is always helped when there's interest from a donor, from a family who has, a youngster at the college or a potential youngster at the college. Many programs are funded through donor interest. If there is an established partner in a state university system, for example, if one campus has an autism program that can pony on another campus. One of the most important things is getting administrative buy-in, because that really is how a program becomes sustaining. So an influential faculty member, if one is blessed enough to be on a campus that has an autism center of research excellence or a medical center attached, where expert opinions can be brought in to talk about the importance of supporting autistic students on campus. Tapping alumni is very important. Alumni who were either parents of autistic children or are autistic themselves. Autistic adults can and have been very successful in the world, and we're in a climate where people are a lot more comfortable discussing their autism as an adult and their neurodiversity. So an alumni can be a very important source of, kind of creating a buzz on campus that this is important. Certainly the numbers, and the numbers are not going to decrease anytime, soon. The numbers are compelling enough that bringing that to an administration and saying it's really important that we support these students because they will be on our campus, they will be successful, they have unique needs that we need to understand, so we can create a culture that is inclusive of all of our students, but including our neurodivergent students. So we have to center the autism conversations, and when that starts to happen, people find that college campuses really are, petri dishes for autism interest. And when you start to reach out and talk to people, they come out of the woodwork and talk about their grandchild, themselves, their neighbor, their student, and that kind of campus buzz is the culture in which an autism program really can thrive. We don't want it to be something which is hidden and siloed off in a corner. We want it to be centered. We want stakeholders to be interested, involved, because really it is a group effort, supporting students with disabilities, but particularly students with autism in the numbers that we're facing is a campus-wide interest. And that's kind of a first step, is locating those stakeholders, creating that buzz, fostering those collaborations. Certainly, funding and space are always problems and always stumbling blocks, which are facilitated the more institutional support one can create.
What advice do you have for aspiring autism program directors?
Do your due diligence, do your research. Go to CAN, they have a fantastic annual conference. Go online, there is more and more research which is being conducted by autistic and neurodivergent individuals that really tell their story from an authentic viewpoint. I have a viewpoint, I've been in this field for a long time, I'm not autistic. So getting autistic voices and reading about their college experience is an important part of assessing how a program can be successful.
And finally, anything you'd like to share with college administrators?
Supporting students is great for retention. We don't want to lose students, and the data tells us that particularly disabled students who leave after their first semester do not come back to higher education. And the way to improve that retention is to support students from day one, from the transition, to start to work with parents on how to transition a student successfully, how to approach residence life, how to do your laundry, what to bring, how to have conversations with faculty. And so those foundational steps can be included in an autism program, which could include a summer transition or some, tips and worksheets to help families prepare for the transition. That first semester support is so critical, and we want our administrators to see the data that shows that students who participate in a structured support program stay, graduate, get jobs in the competitive marketplace, and give back to the universities. So I think that's very important. The data is out there, so people, I encourage people to look for that. Our publishers always ask us to do plugs for the books that Jane and I have written. Jane, Amy, and I just brought a book on neurodiversity in college, a guide for parents. We just brought the second edition out last spring, and we're bringing the second edition of a companion guide for professionals out, hopefully over the summer. So there's lots of stuff to read. There's lots of resources at CAN. Our own website, collegeautismspectrum.com, has a lot of resources. People can sign up for Square One on the College Autism Network website. It's also been pushed out on LinkedIn and other social media. So I encourage everybody to come. It's a great workshop, and it's a lot of fun for us to teach it.
Big thanks to Lorraine Wolf and to Square One. Please subscribe to Inclusive Academia.